360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories, broadcasting and live streaming to millions of devices around the world, including Roku, and live streaming to Facebook Live, also on Amazon Fire TV, and to Twitch. Also, Android TV and Periscope. Broadcasting to Apple TV and YouTube Live. Proudly brought to you by our host, Donna Guinois, producer and host, Michaela Vidal, host and administrator, and Jim Grant, producer and host. Proudly brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com. Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. I am so glad to be here today, and I want to just say that Michaela cannot make it with us today because she's a young mom. Her and her husband have 6 kids, and I told her, I says, hey, family always comes first. But we're very happy that you've tuned in. I'm very thrilled to be here. Yesterday, oh my goodness, we had a show and a half wrapped into one. We had Mr. Bill Heinrich with us. He is the author of let me hold this book up, The 7 Levels of Truth. Hope the camera's doing that justice. There we go, 7 Levels of Truth. It's on Amazon. And that book was about 25 years in the making. Bill had to find himself. He literally walked away from his life. The only thing he took with him was his name. And he found the secret that we're going to be talking a little bit today about. Earl Nightingale, The Strangest Secret. I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today. But it really is amazing how we get caught up in the physical things and how that enslaves us in our life. We understand planet Earth. We've heard the term, this whole wide world, big wide world. But how big is planet Earth in the big scheme of things? I did a little research and it's mind-boggling. It really, truly is. And I'm going to refer to my notes here a little bit. But planet Earth in our galaxy, which is the Milky Way, it is just like a piece of sand on a beach. It's very, very minute, very small in the big picture, the real big picture. Scientists debate on how many planets exist in the Milky Way. Some say at least 100 billion planets exist within the Milky Way alone, our galaxy. 100 billion planets. I mean, good gracious. How did they even count that with a telescope? It blows my mind. Other studies disagree with that. They say there's more. It could be as high as 300 billion. And some of these planets can actually support physical life as we know it. Because being born in this world, being born in the physical, we understand that. We're born into a world of survival. We have physical needs. We fall down and skin our knees trying to learn how to walk. We know all about the physical limitations that this world brings and we exist in. And we know a lot about fear, don't we? Fear and worry. Oh my goodness gracious. No one has to explain to us what fear or worry is, do they? It comes natural to us. But it's also our biggest enemy. Let me share some more things. Back in the mid-1990s, the Hubble telescope, now get this, it estimated that we just went over how big the Milky Way was, our galaxy, right? Some say that there are at least 100 billion planets like Earth there. Others say no, there's closer to 300 billion, and some of them can support life. Then in the mid 1990s, the Hubble telescope comes along. I mean, it was already out, but I mean, it came along with the revealing that there was about at least 200 million galaxies. Whoa. Now we see how small and insignificant planet Earth is in the big realm of things. And today, the World Atlas estimates that there are more than 2 trillion galaxies. How these folks came up with these numbers, I don't know. But scientists have proven that throughout the universe, everything is run by two things: love and vibration. Just like Bill shared with us yesterday, he says there's really only two emotions. There's fear and there's love. And when we live in the survival mode of fear, the physical world, we have not only enslaved ourselves on planet Earth, but we have robbed ourselves of the true riches of life promised to us from the abundance of the universe. The universe has no limit. And it's amazing to me how easy of it is for us to say, okay, I'm going to stop living in fear and I'm going to start living in love. But that's a lot easier said than done, isn't it? Because of our habits. We're creatures of habit, you know? And, you know, some people believe that we know that the universe is expanding. And for anything to expand, it's going to require energy. And that energy is a vibration. We're actually a vibration. Now, I know a lot of people say, oh, come on, Jim. But I'm serious. Sure, we're in a physical body. But our intelligence, our soul, is not limited. It did not come from this physical body. And when this physical body ends on planet Earth, where it began, we, the real we, our personalities, our souls, who we are, internal being, if I could use that phrase, we're going to go somewhere else. The question is where? Now, this is not going to be a religious lesson. Don't get me wrong there, but I just want to say that, you know, when we're stuck in the physical, we are really dragging down everything that we're entitled to from the universe, the creator of the universe. We've got so much evidence and things I'm going to share with you today, and all I say is, you be the judge. Some people believe that the Big Bang Theory created the universe. I personally cannot see that, because with every explosion, it takes a force of energy to make that happen. But when that explosion dies, what also dies with it is the energy that created the explosion. And why is it today that we don't continue to see explosions in the expansion of the universe? There are none, but the universe is expanding exponentially. But scientists have proven that's because of vibrations. We are a vibration on the inside. The universe is a vibration. And most importantly, you might say, well, Jim, what does this have to do with the TV title of what you see down there, Living in Love by Releasing Fear? First of all, we have to understand the size of the physical world that we're in. We realize this physical earth, on the big scheme of things, is barely a speck. And sometimes we think we're so much, you know, that we're much bigger because of our egos, because we're caught up in the physical. That robs us of what our, as the old saying goes, our God-given right and talents and gifts are. It truly does. As I mentioned earlier, there is only the two emotions, fear and love. And on planet Earth here, our fears are all focused on physical things. What's really mind-boggling to me, and I'm guilty of this, so I'm talking about me. Do I truly value the things that money cannot buy? Think about that for a moment, folks. How about you? Do you truly value the things that money cannot buy? Your mind, the ability to love, the heartbeat in your veins, the breath in your lungs, the health, your God-given traits and talents, if I could use that phrase without offending anyone. But my point being, you can't buy those. And yet, I've been guilty in the past of just taking those for granted. How many times in my life have I been sick with something, cold or flu or whatever? And after several days, I'm sick of this. I demand to get better, And that just goes to show you how spoiled we are as a human being. Rather than giving thanks for all the time, which is the majority of the time in the past that I have been healthy and not been sick, I'm focused on right now, these few days that I'm sick and I'm tired of it. I've had it, It's kind of a small-minded person when you think like that. And I'm referring to me, okay? I don't think like it anymore, but there was a time when I did. And another thing too, we worry over things that just sometimes drives us crazy. Ever worry about money? Ever worry about the fear of the loss of a loved one? Well, sure you have. And there's so many fears out there that can distract us, that can keep us enslaved on planet Earth. Notice how I relate fears to slavery, because that's exactly what it does. It enslaves you from reaching the potential you were created to reach. Have you ever looked up the how many different phobias they are? A phobia is just a name for all the fears or all the things that we fear and all that, or we're worried about or whatever. And there is, if you start reading a list, you go like, you got to be kidding me. Somebody's afraid of a string? A string? S-T-R-I-N-G? I'll never understand that, and I'm not going to waste any time on it. But when it comes to our fears, we easily understand when someone has a fear of spiders, or if someone has the fear of public speaking. It's been said that people fear public speaking more than they do death. Public speaking in the phobia world is known as glossophobia. Glosso meaning Greek, meaning the tongue, and of course phobia, the use of the tongue, the speaking. How about a fear of heights? We all have fears of something. I'm not afraid of spiders. I'm not afraid of speaking anymore. At one time, I was petrified to even think that I would get up in front of a crowd of people and speak. And here I'm being broadcast out to millions of devices around the world. And I'm as comfortable because in my mind, I'm simply having a one-on-one conversation with you. Because I really believe in my heart today, there's going to be one person that I can reach out to, touch their life, and help them change their life. That's why I'm here. The fear of dying. I believe that's pronounced thanatopia. I slaughtered that one big time. But the fear of dying. Some people fear death so much they don't even want to think about it. They don't even want to be around when someone is talking about it. Most of our fears, if not all of them, they exist only in the physical world. Just about everyone, I imagine, can tell you the day they were born. But can you tell me the day you're going to die? What's more important, too, is that all of these fears that we think about and shapes our life, creates a lifestyle for us, enslaves us in the process, they cannot exist in the universe. Fear is limited to planet Earth, ladies and gentlemen. That's why if you decide, I'm going to just stop worrying, I'm not going to live in fear, I'm tired of living in fear. It does nothing for your health. It does nothing for your happiness. All it does is pollute the very stream or spring that you want to drink from. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to choose to love myself. I'm going to be thankful for what I have. And I'm going to look to see how I can use my gifts, my talents, my everything to be a blessing to someone else. Just like I said earlier, I'm looking through the eye of the camera, hopefully speaking to one person out there that I can help them improve their life today. As I said, this is why I'm here. Has nothing to do with ego. Has nothing to do with my intelligence. Has nothing to do about me. I'm just a messenger. And that's what's important. And I saw a little flash there. I had to put my glasses on and see what I was getting there. But fears can only live and thrive inside your mind. And let me share something with you about your mind. Your mind, as much as we like to think it can, it really can't reason. In Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret, and we're going to talk about that a little bit today, he talks about comparing the mind to planet Earth, the farmer in the field. The description he uses, he says, a farmer can take two seeds. One can be corn and one can be nightshade. Nightshade is a deadly poison. The farmer plants both of those seeds in the ground, covers up the soil, waters them. The earth produces two plants. One is corn, the other one's nightshade, the deadly poison. The earth doesn't make a distinction. And that's the same truth about our minds. When it comes to our minds, whatever we put in it is what's going to come out. We are what we think about all day. Think about that one. And whatever you're tempted to do in life, good or bad, you can only be tempted with what you store in your heart. When I first heard that statement, I went like, uh-oh. I need to take care of some things. You know what I mean? We all do. Because we're human, we make mistakes. That's why love is very important, because love overlooks and forgives a lot of our shortcomings in life. And when you're able to do that, you've set yourself free. The other person still may be feeling guilty. That's because they have not loved themselves enough to forgive themselves. That's the power of love. And I ask people from time to time, where does a dog get the capacity to love its master, or a family? And can you imagine what a wonderful world this world would be if everyone had the heart of a dog and showed their love to family and friends equally? It's amazing. We've heard a lot about this brain thing, and I want to share something funny with you. 65% of the people on planet Earth, it's a myth, but they believe we only use 10% of our brains. The first time I heard this, and I've said this on a previous show, some of you may recall, the first time I heard this, I had just walked into the living room and my mother and father were sitting there watching the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite. And I was a kid in school. I think it was about 11th grade, teenager in high school. And Walter Cronkite came on with that news flash that science has proven we only use 10% of our brains. And true story, I am not making this up. My mom and dad were kind of like, wow, really? They couldn't believe that. It was just kind of like, a cold bucket of water in their face on a January morning. It was just a shocker to them. And I remember both of them looked at me at about the same time, and both of them had the same kind of expression on their face, kind of like. And I look at both of them, I'm thinking, what did I do? I just walked into the room. And then it dawned on me, since Walter Cronkite said we only use the 10% of our brain, I'm thinking, they think in school I'm not even using that much. But really, it's not true. It's a myth. I know a lot of people would disagree with that, and that's fine. But we've learned a lot about the left side of the brain, the right side of the brain. And the left side of the brain, that's the one that labels everything as being verbal. This is the logical mind of us. This is where we analyze everything, and we got to have everything in order, okay? And then the right side of the brain, it's all visual. It sees the beauty. It has a pleasing eye to it, if I may use that phraseology or term. And it has the ability to take what it sees and put it into the capacity, taking the big picture and putting it into detail that we can understand, and the two communicate. The problem with that is that both sides of the brain are stuck in the physical. They only can rationalize and process physical things. So many times with myths, we can believe something to be gospel, so to speak, and it's not. And so many times in life, it's really hard for us to shift that gear because we get into the defensive mode because we want to justify what we believe to be true all those years to be true, even though scientists or some other source proves that it was a myth or we were mistaken about something. And that challenges us. And today, I'm going to challenge you a little bit, because why is it so hard for us to deal with life struggles? We're going to take a quick little commercial break. I'm going to come back with Earl Nightingale, and we're going to get into the strangest secret. You are ready. You're ready for a treat. I know you are, and I know there's someone out there that I can actually bless their heart and be a blessing to them. We'll be right back right after this brief message.
Hey, this is Dr. Don McGrath, co-creator of the Authentic Client Connection Blueprint, powered by 6-Minute Webinar technology and our really incredible app, ScriptPal, which makes it so easy to create an incredibly powerful script. Check it out. ScriptPal, you answer 40 questions about yourself and your business. Then enter your email address and click submit. Within a minute, you'll get a powerful 6-minute webinar script that you can use to record a 6-minute webinar video to share everywhere, or to create a talk that makes you stand out above the others. Use the resulting powerful language anytime you speak about your business. Use it for each and every product or service you offer. The clarity and the brevity you exhibit will astound people. The result being that people will want more of you. And yes, it's just that simple. It's just that easy to create that powerful script that will move people to action so they want more of you. So go ahead and click the button.
Yeah, the 6 minute webinar, I tell you right now, it's the real deal. I'm part of that, and I used it for my whenever I speak, my presentations. I use that so that I can put together a great presentation. But I want to talk to you today about Earl Nightingale, the strangest secret. And it really isn't a secret, but to many, it is. Earl Nightingale, he was well known as a American radio personality and show host. I first met him when I was about 17 or 18 years of age. And he was traveling somewhere. I don't know where his destination was, but he had car trouble. And he pulls into the service station where I was at. Now, this is back in the 60s where typical service stations had a wash rack and a oil rack where the mechanics would work on the cars and change oil and whatnot. His car was overheating. I mean, it was just boiling. And so he pulls in there, and I knew who he was, but I did not know how to appreciate who he was. I just knew he was heard him on the radio because Earl Nightingale, he had a very distinct, deep, gravelly voice. And what really impressed me about him was that he had to go over to the payphone. We didn't have cell phones back in those days, young folks. We had payphones. He went over to the payphone. He made a call, and I don't remember his exact words, but it was words like, I'm going to be late. I've got car trouble. My car's overheating. I will give you a call when I'm ready to go. And so therefore you'll know about when to expect me. I apologize for this, but I did not anticipate I'd have car trouble. And he sat down and he took it very calmly. Because I've seen other people in life, when they have trouble, something physically stops them from being able to fulfill an obligation or a promise, they get all upset. Look at people when they get ready to go to work in the morning. They get up late, they're brushing their teeth with one hand, and guys are trying to shave with the other and all that, and they're grumpy and all that stuff. And this is all wrapped up in the emotions of the physical world. But Earl, when I started looking into his life, many years later, I started saying, wow, I really appreciate what this man has done. And I want to share something about his life here. A lot of you can relate to. Of course, he was a public speaker and an author, and he was considered to be the dean of personal development. And because he modeled his life and he shared his life with others to help them model their life. Earl was very colorful, and during his 40-year career, he created The Strangest Secret. He was the author of that book, The Strangest Secret. But what's really interesting, Earl was known for telling people, you can live a successful life as long as you remember one thing. Your life is a journey. It's not a destination. And in a journey, we know we're going to have lumps and bumps. We're going to have flat tires. We're going to have things that pop up. We're going to have radiators, overheat, cars that overheat on us and that sort of thing. But when I started looking at Earl's life, it just really really impressed me because he came from nowhere. He was born in 1921. He was born in poverty. His parents lived in a place called Tent City outside of Long Beach, California. People who live in tents, especially in the United States, they're pretty poor. They're very poor, as a matter of fact. But this was the world that Earl was born into. How many people do you know or have you heard of that blame everything, all their problems, on where they were born or their parents or somebody else, rather than take responsibility and be in charge of their life? Think about that for a moment. I've heard people say, well, I was born in poverty and, that's my lot in life. True story. I've heard a man say that. The problem with that kind of thinking is that you're sowing the seed in your mind that you were born in poverty. You're going to live in poverty because that's who you are. And guess what the mind delivers? Poverty. And Earl, like I said, he was born in 1921 in a place called Tent City. During the 1930s, during the Depression, in 1933, when the Depression hit very hard, his father left his mother because he was looking for work, and the mother was left alone with the three boys, and she got work as a seamstress in a sewing factory. So she was very fortunate, one of the fortunate few. But this started Earl on his journey. He started wondering why. Why are some people in the United States poor, dirt poor, and others are filthy rich, as the old saying used to be used. So why are some people poor and why are some people rich? Is there a magic formula to this? How did all this happen? And his hunger for knowledge is what molded his life, because where he went to find answers to was the local library. He studied all of the world's religions. He read everything he could get his hands on, trying to put everything together to try to make logical sense. The problem was he was looking for a much higher answer from the abundance of the universe, from the limitations of the physical world. Let that soak in for just a moment. Think about that. And when he was 17 years of age, he joined the U.S. Marine Corps. And not much is said about his military service except for one huge moment in his life that helped shape his life. He was stationed upon the USS Arizona. He was part of the Pacific Fleet that was harbored at Pearl Harbor when it got bombed by the Japanese on December the 7th, 1941. For those of you that's familiar with the Arizona ship and what happened to it, it got hit by some bombs that was dropped by the Japanese airplanes. It hit one of the turrets, and it exploded because it landed right into the ammunition area. Tremendous explosion. It set off several other smaller explosions, if you want to call them smaller. And there was 1,512 men assigned to the Arizona. They don't know how many, but there were several of them that were still on shore leave. But the men that lost their life was 1,177. Counting the men who were on shore leave, there was a total of 335 survivors of the USS Arizona. It is well known and documented that Earl Nightingale was one of the Marines who was on that ship, who survived the blast, who survived all the fires and the smoke, and him and others helped the wounded and other survivors to get off that ship alive. Think about that. That's really amazing, isn't it? And some of the badly wounded, they didn't quite make it. But anyway, that was part of his life. And Earl he went on with his life. And he decided to make something out of his life with his studies and all that, because somehow he knew, going through, being born in poverty, surviving Pearl Harbor, there's got to be a higher calling than that. And in his studies and in his research and his journey down the pathway of life, he found the strangest secret that Bill Heinrich talks about in his book, The 7 Levels of Truth. It's not found in the physical world. It's found in the abundance of the universe, because fear and love do not coexist. Fear can only survive like a poisonous plant here on planet Earth. But love can survive here, and it's definitely alive and well in the universe. You might say, well, okay, what do I do? Simply make a choice that you're going to stop worrying. All these fears that you have. If my loved one gets in a car and they're going to go on a trip, oh, I hope and pray they don't get in a car accident. It's, that's a worthy prayer to pray. I understand that. But to live in fear in the process is not. Because then you got to ask yourself one very important question. If you pray a prayer to whoever you pray to, for that loved one to have a safe journey during their trip, and you worry after that, where's your faith in whoever you prayed to? Think about that. That means your faith is not very strong or doesn't have too much value to it. I'm not knocking anybody's faith. I'm just saying you're weak in your faith. And that's important in life. And during Earl's navigation down the pathway of life that led him up to recording The Strangest Secret, in 1950, he was inspired when he read the words by Napoleon Hill, we become what we think about. And that opened up a whole new chapter in his life. That sent him on a journey of research, because how can that be? We become what we think about, And here again, Napoleon Hill was not really thinking or writing about in our minds, because our minds can confuse us because it's only limited to the physical things on planet Earth. Okay? We got to lift our mental eyes higher than that. And Rollo May made a statement in his book. He talked about, in man's search for himself, the problem that we have in society today. It is not people that's lazy or anything like that. Laziness is a problem, yes. But the big problem is that people are so eager to conform to the way things are. The people who walk to the beat of a different drum, they are the ones that move milestones in people in their life and other people's lives. Because we're so easy to conform to the way of life. How many times do you feel like maybe in your pathway of life you felt like you're out of place walking your path, your journey, because you're living up to someone else's expectations of where you should be? You conform to that. That is all physical. That limits you. You cannot live in love and be stuck knee-deep in the physical world. The two do not go together. Fear and love cannot coexist. Once you release fear and you say, I'm going to let it go, I'm not going to worry anymore. I'm going to believe in myself, and I'm going to love myself, even though it's going to be trial and error for a while, but I'm going to love others too. And I'm going to try and be a blessing to other people wherever I can, no matter how small it might be. If it's just send a text message to someone to say I was thinking of you. And it reminds me right now to do not necessarily a shout out, but to remember a very good friend of mine, Stephanie Duane, who is suffering from cancer. She's battled with it for time to time, and she's going through treatments and all, and her husband keeps us updated. And Stephanie, I just want you to know that right now, in this moment, of all the people on planet Earth, I'm thinking about you as a friend. You're in my thoughts and you're in my prayers. And I pray that the all-seeing eye in the sky, the Creator, will guide the medical doctors, the nurses, all the staff, the specialists that attend to you, and treat you with proper medicine to fully restore you to your much wanted health. Bless you, and thank you for being my friend. How long did that take? And I did that publicly on the airways. But what if you send a little message like that to someone that's hurting? Maybe they lost, a loved one, which we normally respond to friends like that and let them know we're sorry. But even when someone loses a beloved pet, that can stab you in the heart too, folks. And just if you knew someone that lost their beloved pet, and you just send them a message that says, hey, I understand how you feel, and I just want you to know I'm thinking of you. See, that's all with love. And when you turn on the love makes life exciting. It makes life worth living. It enables you, it blesses you with health. The vibrant energy starts coming to you, and the strangest secret of all, many, many wise men down through the passage of time, some who were not even religious, have shared the strangest secret on planet Earth. The carpenter from Galilee shared it on the mount. So when you read words like this, or you hear words like this, that whatever you believe, if you believe all things are possible, and I'm paraphrasing this a little bit, if you believe all things are possible, those things will be available to you if you believe. Now, the exact words in Mark 9:23, it says, if thou canst believe, all things are possible to him that believeth. That is a universal principle. It is a universal promise from the creator of the universe. Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, I say that has nothing to do with religion, because even atheists have proved that one true. So what does that mean? If you sow in your mind that you're going to love, and you're going to be thankful for everything on planet Earth that you've been blessed with, there is no limit to what the universe can do for you. And no one can stop you. That's the beauty of it. We think about, as I said a little bit earlier, about how we value things on planet Earth, the things that money can buy. How many times have we known of, or if we heard of, family members fighting over things in the house after the parents or the last parent passes away? I wanted this. They got it. I'm mad. See, we grumble and complain over the things that money can buy. But, the things money can buy, if your house burns down, of course you'll lose family photographs and things like that. I'm not degrading that. But if a house burns down, you can rebuild it. If your car gets stolen, if you got insurance, or if you don't, you can still replace it. Because those are all physical things. And in this life, when you choose to allow the negative things in this life from the evil side of life enter into your life and determine how you're going to navigate your individual journey down the pathway of life, and you listen to things that are, let's be honest, they're evil, they're wicked, they're mean, they're violent, all it's going to do is shackle you and drag you down. You can no more survive in the abundant life that you're so richly entitled to. That's why you were born on planet Earth. You were born to be a winner. You were born to love and be loved. You were born to enjoy the abundance of the universe, and nobody can stop you unless you give them the key and let them in and let them rule over your life. No one has that authority. No more than any governing body of men and women can get together and legislate, regulate, and strangulate and say the sun is going to rise in the west and it's going to start setting in the east. Good luck with that one. You know what I mean? And I'm being sincere here. I'm not trying to be, cute or anything like that. My point being, throughout this entire message, we started out with how small planet Earth is in the big realm of things. Hope you understand kind of way, we're pretty minute when it comes right down to it. Because look at people who were alive during the 15th century. They were here on planet Earth. They were physically here. They're no longer physically here, are they? They're physically gone. But where did the rest of them go to? The real person inside. The intelligence, the soul, the spirit of that person. I don't believe the creator of the universe is expanding the universe, building a stairway to nowhere. But my point being, if you want to live a life of love and abundance, stop worrying. Stop listening to things that in the physical world that can drag you down. Because a lot of people, I'm going to be honest here. I might go on a limb here and be sitting on a limb this direction and the trees in that direction. I might be sawing it off. But a lot of personalities I see on TV, they're only there for their ego. They're trying to impress people. Look how cool I am on camera. Let me share with you how intelligent I am. And I'm also, in a way, going to tell you how you should be thinking. You want to know how many minutes or seconds a day I listen to people like that? 0. They bring no value to anyone because all they have to share is doom and gloom. And I know a lot of people are sick and tired of doom and gloom. And a lot of people are tired of all the negative things being said about humans because we are created to love one another. We're created to respect one another. We're created to be a blessing for one another. It's not about things. It's not about money. It's not about all these things that, we can see, touch, and feel. It's coming from the heart, living in the abundance of the universe. That is what sets you free, not only here in this physical life, but the life to come. Abundance in everything. And I got to get my eyes on here and see what time it is. Oh my goodness, we got a few minutes left. But anyway, I wanted to share with you what the strangest secret was, because it's so easily overlooked. And one of the things that comes to my mind when I say that makes me chuckle is a story about Henry Ford. Henry Ford, when he first started Ford Motor Company, a lot of people don't know that he originally started working for Cadillac. And then he went and started Ford Motor Company. But Henry Ford did not have all of the specialized education that he needed to create Ford Motor Company. And a lot of people grumbled and complained, stuck in the physical world, because they wanted to feel better about themselves. That's when people grumble and complain about you or say things to you that's harmful. And the comment was, how could a country bumpkin like Henry Ford create a car company and do all the things that he did? And he didn't know anything about all that stuff. They were just grumble and complain because it helped them feel better about themselves because they were failures in life. I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about a failure as being a human being. There's no rest for that. But the thing of it was, Henry Ford was smart. He knew what his limitations was. I don't know anything about metallurgy. I don't know how those things work, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to get men, and I guess women too, but definitely he's going to get people in there who know the things that he doesn't know, and he's going to pick their brains with the mastermind principle and use their brains like it is his own brain. Because nobody knows it all. And that's how come if you're struggling out there and you're wanting to improve your life, because I know there's a lot of people out there, they're living in fear because of COVID-19. And I know a lot of people out there are angry and upset. Some people get angry and upset and almost spit-firing mad, as the old saying goes, if they're going somewhere and they're wearing a mask and they see other people not wearing a mask. How dare you come out in public and not wear a mask? Or people that say, well, I got vaccinated and you didn't get vaccinated. How dare you not get vaccinated? Understand one thing. Everyone has an individual choice. And if that angers and upsets you, you automatically have reduced your ability for your body to defend itself because you've weakened your defenses, because anger, hate, and all the negative things of the world destroys your good health. So what do? You let it go. You say, I'm going to give thanks for my life. I may wear a mask when I go out. I may be vaccinated and all those wonderful things, but that's my personal choice. I'm not going to get upset at someone else that doesn't wear a mask or someone else that hasn't been vaccinated or whatever the case may be. I'm not going to destroy my happiness and my life and fire venom at them, because everything is a vibration. And what you sow, you will reap. Just like the mind. The farmer, we use the analogy of planting one seed of corn and one seed of nightshade. The land produced both crops, one of corn and the other one of the poisonous plant nightshade. So if you fill yourself with hate and you fill yourself with anger and all that, your mind is not going to disappoint you. You're not going to be able to live the life that you are entitled to live. The strangest secret of it is let it go. Live in love. Believe in yourself. Live in abundance. And most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, reach out and help someone else in their hour of need. Maybe it's just being a good listener. Maybe it's sharing a good message or a good word with them. Maybe it's just simply saying, I'm sorry what you're going through, but I care and I'm here. Simple things like that. That means a lot. It means a lot more than if you show up with some fancy gift that you bought with money. Like, here, I bought you this to make you happy. Really? Because what makes you happy deep down inside are the things that money cannot buy. The love, the joy and the jubilee of living, not only the life here while we're on planet Earth inside this physical body, but the abundant life that's promised to us all by the creator of the universe, because the universe is expanding, and it's expanding for a reason. Don't take that lightly. The universe is expanding for a reason. And I really believe that reason is to make room for me and you. Because when my days on planet Earth are done, as far as my personal faith goes, I know that I know where I'm going to go. So why should I worry? Why should I be drugged down into the muck and the mire and the trash of life? That's why I don't listen to TV. That's why I turn those egos off. I don't need them in my life, ladies and gentlemen, and neither do you. You need people that love you. You need people that care about you. You need people that's with you there in your hour of need. Plain, simple, short, sweet, and brief, as my dad used to say. My time is about gone. And I just want to say, I really, truly hope deep down inside that through the camera lens, I reached out and I touched one person's soul today. I said something and enabled them that gave them hope. Because make no mistake about it, you were born to be a winner. You were not born to be enslaved on planet Earth. Either physically enslaved or mentally enslaved. And too many people are mentally enslaved. And all you got to do is just let it go. Because when fear gets sucked out of you, love will rush in. And when you love yourself first and you love others, that's what makes you successful in life. It has nothing to do with money. And when you get down and a negative thought enters your mind, recognize it and stop right there and say, you know what? I'm going to give thanks for what I have. I'm going to give thanks for the roof I have over my head. I'm going to give thanks for the food that I have in my house. I'm going to give thanks for the clothes that I have on my back. I'm going to give thanks for my dog whom I love and he loves me. I'm going to give thanks for all the things that money cannot buy. I'm going to give thanks for my mind, my intelligence, the heartbeat in my veins, the breath in my lungs, and most importantly, for all my family and friends that love me. None of those can be bought or sold for money. Ladies and gentlemen, Donna will be with me tomorrow, so you won't have to put up with me the whole time. Like I say, little Michaela, she had to take care of her. Her and Reuben have 6 kids together. Michaela is my granddaughter. And of course, family always comes first. Your kids, oh my goodness gracious. And like, if you got elder parents and you're going to take care of them or do something for them, that's where you should be, because you should do it with love, joy, and jubilee. And I sincerely hope that I've said something today to bless one person. Maybe give someone out there who is struggling a chance to say, hey, I don't have to live in mental slavery anymore. I can set myself free today. If other people around me want to enjoy being miserable, I will love them, but I'll let them go, because misery is their problem. It's not mine. I'm going to set myself free. You can do that today, right now. And most importantly, I keep saying most importantly, because all these things are very important to me. You are promised to live in love and in abundance by the Creator of the universe. Whatever your religious belief is, that's your own personal choice. But the fact of it is, the universe is up there. The fact of it is, it's expanding. The fact of it is, it's a huge vibration. The fact of it is, that's where love exists. And nobody that knows anything about science can deny it. And no one can ever rob you of that. No thief can break in and take that from you. Treasure that in your heart. I'm Jim Grant. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening or day, wherever you might be watching this show from. And most importantly, be good to yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Laugh at the dumb things you've done. I giggle a lot at some of the dumb things I've done, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've done my fair share and probably fudged in on a couple other people's share of dumb things. But the main thing is that give thanks that you're here, and give thanks that there's somewhere people out there, may not be real close to you right now, but there's people out there who will love you, like you, appreciate you, and respect you for who you are. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. Take care. And I got all this stuff here in the way. Appreciate you. Bye-bye.